20 years ago, for a fantasy book to hit it big, exceptional script work and a tad of marketing were most probably sufficient. But these days, things are different. You're expected not only to write an enthralling story, but also to address current political and social trends. All good stuff. But what do you do if your old bestseller doesn't quite measure up to new standards? Well, perhaps you could tweak your characters a bit to fill. Here's the idea.
Finally, a question over a popular character of fiction and her supposed race. We're talking about Hermione Granger of the Harry Potter series. In the movie, she was played by Emma Watson, a white actress.
But since revealing that the adult Hermione will be portrayed on stage by Noma Domazawene, she's a black actress, it caused confusion among fans and some expressing their displeasure at the apparent changing of the character's race.
Of the Harry Potter series were ecstatic to find out that the biggest fan theory surrounding Nagini's character was revealed. However, it didn't take long after the trailer's release for people to start expressing their disappointment in the casting choices. As you know, South Korean actress Claudia Kim was chosen for this role, and although it may have seemed like a win for Asian representation, many people on social media actually saw this casting choice to be problematic.
J.K. Rowling has Harry Potter fans going nuts, but nope, it's not what you think. Rowling, who previously confirmed Dumbledore is gay, gave fans a deeper look at his romance with fellow wizard Gellert Grindelwald.
In a special feature for the upcoming Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald Blu-ray, Rowling says there was a, quote, sexual dimension to their relationship.
Joan Rowling, or known as J.K. Rowling, is a famous British novelist who has been writing fiction since she was 6. Her most popular works, Harry Potter books, had been bestsellers internationally.
Her creations bring everyone into a wizarding world, a world full of magic and fantasy. Even after the original franchise is already over, everyone still holds her creation dearly at heart.
However, recently her tweets and interviews have also taken everyone into another world, a world of rage and disappointment. Her decisions to quote-unquote reveal some facts regarding her own characters, such as the queerness of the headmaster of Hogwarts or Nagini's backstory,
put people in confusion and create a lot of discussions among fans and non-fans.
Rowling is then accused of using the phenomenon of race and sexuality diversity for her own good. In other words, she commodifies aspects of minorities to appeal to a wider demography. This video will focus on problems regarding the move that she did in attempting to keep the wizarding world alive. Rowling is a very imaginative writer who has lots of ideas to develop her stories. We could find a lot of characteristics and various backgrounds in her characters. These days, it is easier to spread information about her stories and characters. One of the platforms that she uses is Twitter.
She often relieves her fans' curiosities to their questions. The most prominent questions are about the diverse representation in the Harry Potter world. There are many tweets that fulfills her fans' expectation about the diversity in the Harry Potter's universe. The tweets vary from additional information to the changes of the characters' details, such as race, sexual orientations, religion, and origins.
With all these recent actions by Rowling, the question that fans has been asking is what exactly is going on with the sudden changes in their beloved franchise. The reactions are mixed. Some fans are happy, but some of them are not. The latter are asking, was the intention as genuine as embracing all people that read the franchise? Or was it to just give diversity that has been a current issue in the most thoughtless way in order to keep the world created by Rowling stay relevant in today's society?
J.K. Rowling never intended to write Hermione as black. She turns pink when she's blushing, she turns white when she's fearful, and people with more amounts of melanin wouldn't turn pink or white.
Just an excuse of her to gain more racial diversity in the series.
Nagini is a slave to Voldemort. She wasn't given any personality. She wasn't even given words, any verbal communication, none of that. And that's very problematic when you think about stereotypes of Asian women in general. It's not okay because it's an oversimplification. I mean, India, Indonesia, and Korea are all very different.
Mungkin dia juga masih mikirnya Asia tuh semuanya jatuhnya di Asia Timur. Sorry, slanted eyes, gitu-gitu yang putih slanted eyes, Asian.
Western tuh kadang-kadang mikir bahwa all Asians tuh ya udah sama.
Buku tuh nggak pernah ngomongin seksualitas tiap karakter gitu.
One thing that she wants to sell to the audience because as we know, Harry Potter has a very wide audience of writers in a fanfiction fandom. Mostly, most of these writers tend to write what you say as gay fanfiction.
When you highlight the queer appearance as something to sell the film because it's popular now, the LGBTQ plus community, it becomes problematic because it's very strategically timed, very strategically placed. And we would never know their intentions of putting the appearance. Is it because they want to raise awareness? Is it because they want to represent the marginalized group of people? Or is it because they want to sell the film?
The Hollywood industry has been giving these minorities a chance to present themselves in the artwork of cinema. However, Hollywood itself is a money-making industry that is controlled by people.
Regarding, representation of black people and women, as well as other racial groups such as Asian Americans, Native Americans. So there have been these voices in the academia and in public. So I guess at some point, the Hollywood industry, I think, is trying to accommodate those concerns, those voices. But at the same time, I don't think we can be too happy with the appearance or emergence of these movies because in their mind it's still about business.
There is a question that has been resurfacing, which is, are these people sincerely giving these chances as the way it seems? Or the idea of making money out of the issue? Or should we say capitalism is on the work here?
But at the same time, it's a form of a modification in that what we see on the screen is what caters to the interest and assumptions, general assumption. They want to embrace them. At the same time, they're commodifying that, turning that into a product which can sell. I think that's probably the nature of capitalism. It always tries to find new ways so that it could go around, it could circumvent things in such a way that anything can be made into a product, can be commodified. So it's a good thing in terms of appearance. Those groups of people, they start to appear, but at the same time they're being commodified. So it depends on how we understand that phenomenon and how those people appear on the street, how they understand their role in such a system.
The standard in today's world is to represent all diversity in the world, which leads to the other theory of post-racial world.
There is some kind of wish from the public in the US to think of their society now as post-racial. Is it true that race doesn't matter? I mean, that's what we hear from the mainstream society, from the white community. What I've observed is people from the non-white groups, they would say that, well, that's not exactly true.
After the explanation before, we can correlate this phenomenon with a theory by Arjuna Padurai about commodification is anything intended for exchange or any object of economic value. In this case, the object is the diversity. We see here that Rowling attempt in giving out sudden representation of the minorities as a means of selling them. In other words, it's only for marketing strategy. Rowling did the commodification by bringing tokenism in the first place by bringing out characters of colors like Cho Chang, Anthony Goldstein, and Dean Thomas. However, both in the movies and the books, we don't see their histories and how they come into play. That is why it is tokenism and not a representative of minorities.
It is not until Fantastic Beasts series came along with the emergence of newfound activism that we see Rowling started to put out facts regarding these minorities. It is therefore a little too late to put out these thoughts and facts as she left them in the first 7 movies and her previous Harry Potter books. The reaction ranging from mild irritability to completely insulted. Now looking at the data, we can see that their income from Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them to the sequel, which is Crimes of Grindelwald, falls down by $200 million.
Although there are a lot of factors that may have affected this, we believe one of the factors is that Rowling's attempt to commodify the phenomenon of diversity fails.
The fact that she suddenly put out these new facts without having it earlier in the books or even in the 7 movies that she made makes people confused as to why she did it in the first place.
Si J.K. Rowling tuh pengen keep this fame of Harry Potter keep existing, bisa aja memunculkan fakta-fakta baru itu biar eksistensi Harry Potter masih tetap ada di sini, karena kan sekarang kita tahu bahwa orang-orang lagi woke masalah kayak LGBTQ and such. Saya pikir si J.K. Rowling tuh mau stay relevant to the current issues.
To conclude, the fans and critics can agree on one thing though.
The stunt that Rowling did is only for marketing strategy, and Minorities, as what she had shown in her actions, are merely an afterthought.